And when I was bringing these things out, I suddenly remembered that actually the first time I read this koan was when John sent it to me right before it was published. And then I was working on another painting at the time. But I had a dream. And in the dream was sent to me by Balangiri. And I can't remember all of the details of it now, but that was the first moment where the koan was calling to me. The first recognition was it came to me in a dream. And at that time I knew that it was for me. So there's the first recognition. And I knew at some point that I would work with it in this way, with painting. I didn't know when. So a sesshin was coming up. It was a summer sesshin last year. And I decided to bring this koan with me. And it was the springtime. And I have a canyon near my house that I love to walk in. It's beautiful chaparral, and there's a creek that goes up it. And I was walking along a dirt road, part of it, and I came across what I first thought was a large rattlesnake, so I was kind of startled, but I got closer, and it was two very long, 5, 6 feet long gopher snakes, and they were entwined with each other, and they were making love. Mm-hmm. And when I saw them, my whole chest just had this, it was like it had come inside my chest, like my ribs had opened out, and someone had come into my heart, like the snakes had come into my heart. And I crouched down near them and just watched them for a long time as they were writhing around. And I knew that they were going to be part of the painting, and I did not know how, I didn't know why. What do snakes have to do with this koan? It doesn't make any sense to me. But I had been through this process enough that I had come to trust that feeling, that for me it's very much in my body, it's a physical experience of recognition. And I was thinking about the blossoms, you know, the spring, and he sees the blossoms. I'd searched for 30 years. And I think also that moment of seeing the peach blossoms was like seeing the snakes. I'd seen snakes before, but there was this moment where it was saying, this is for you, this song's for you. So then I started working on a painting with the snakes intertwined, and it was fairly large, and it just was not going well. Felt like I was pushing, it was efforting, and I was becoming very frustrated. And so, so much so that I took the painting and I turned it against the wall. I just didn't want to look at it anymore. And then what happened? Let's see. And then I went to a workshop with Naomi Shihab Nye, the poet at Tassajara. Already you can tell something's going to happen. Just by who she is. And on the way back from the workshop, I was driving through Carmel Valley, which is a narrow road, and they haven't yet graded it so that the road is laid right across the landscape and flows with it. And it's mostly a one-lane road, and it's curvy, so you really have to watch, because there's people coming towards you and there's not enough room. So I was driving home feeling marvelous after being with Naomi, and I must have been thinking about something else at the moment. I was planning something or thinking about eating the cookies that I'd gotten at Tassajara, I don't know what. But then in a moment I looked up, and across the road, stretched across it, was the largest gopher snake I had ever seen. Beautiful. And the moment I looked up and saw it, it saw me and looked at me. And before I could take my foot and put it on the brake, I felt the car move over its body. And I just felt horrible at this mistake I had made from my inattention. I had forgotten. So that's that moment, you know, I forgot. You know, here was this beautiful, this song had come to me again, and I forgot, running over the snake. And I started berating myself that how could I possibly have done this. And while I'm doing that, about 3 minutes later I'm driving along and there's another snake laid across the road. So it comes again. Don't worry. It will come again. There's Marilyn winking at me. And then if that wasn't enough, a few minutes later, another snake laid across the road, which I also definitely drove around. So that's what, in this image here, these snakes are the ones, they're the, don't worry, it will come again, part of the piece. And as I was working on it, as I work on these pieces, I don't know the whole, I can't see the whole image as I work. I'm just slowly groping my way forward as I'm working on them. So at some point the honeycomb wasn't there, and I was working on, this part was here, the snakes entwined. And then I was at home reading a book, and I came upon a poem by Antonio Machado. And as I read it, I started weeping. That's always a good sign. That you know that it's your song, that it's coming to your heart, it's coming for you, it's just for you. And this poem was just for me. So I'm going to read this poem. It's about the mistake part.
The what?
The mistake part of the poem. Last night as I was sleeping, I dreamt, marvelous error, that a spring was breaking out in my heart. I said, along which secret aqueduct, O water, are you coming to me? Water of a new life that I have never drunk. Last night as I was sleeping, I dreamt marvelous error, that I had a beehive here inside my heart, and the golden bees were making white combs and sweet honey from my old failures. Last night as I was sleeping, I dreamt marvelous error, that a fiery sun was giving light inside my heart. It was fiery because I felt warmth as from a hearth, and sun because it gave light and brought tears to my eyes. Last night as I was sleeping, I dreamt marvelous error, that it was God I had here inside my heart.